Alignment is broken, right? That's what everyone says. Have you ever seen those memes with grids listing alignments and showing which characters from a TV show or movie fit into which alignment? Take a scroll through the social media comments sections on those memes. There's usually fierce discussion over the particulars of which characters correspond to which alignments, because alignment is messy, subjective, complicated. Also, the common prevailing wisdom from the crowd that hates alignment is that it's basically like a form of railroading. If your character sheet says you're lawful good, then you have to let that captured goblin go once she's told you where the goblin lair is. If your character sheet says chaotic evil, then you're supposed to slaughter that goblin in the most ruthless way possible. For some, playing within these alignment rules is just another set of parameters the game gives you, like not being able to toss a fireball 160 feet away, or not being able to offhand dagger attack with two-weapon fighting if you're also carrying a shield. But the crux of the problem here is that rules like distance and what you're carrying apply to the combat or exploration parts of the game, and alignment largely affects the role-playing side of the game. In my experience, players don't like being told how they have to roleplay their characters. There's the well-worn meme about the bards seducing everyone, but what if you were told that, as a bard, you have to attempt to seduce every NPC you come across? Does a barbarian have to solve every problem with violence like a Hulk smash? No, of course not. But alignment does imply certain intended choices on you, doesn't it? I like to view alignment not as a personality, but rather a belief system. Personality trait is something like being shy. When you're shy, it defines a lot of what you do and how you interact with other people. Now, we know shy people absolutely can come out of their shells at times, but it's not the norm. It's their nature to be shy, and acting against that nature requires effort. However, a belief system is not ingrained, not natural. It's a learned behavior and/or something you actively work toward, like your political affiliation or your religious beliefs. When you act in accordance with your religious beliefs, that's a choice you're making. And when you act counter to your religious beliefs, that's also a choice you're making. I tend to play characters who are formerly bad but are now trying to do the right thing. The ex-con turning over a new leaf is my absolute jam when it comes to roleplay archetypes. Here are two quick examples. I played a genie warlock in a campaign, and his deal was he's a common street thug who had stumbled upon a genie's lamp. The genie became his warlock patron, but they had an unusual dynamic. This patron was like a parole officer. He would come down on the warlock for doing anything less than good aligned actions. And this led to fun scenarios at the table where my warlock would be tempted to steal and do bad things, but he knew he would hear about it from his patron if he did selfish actions. Lots of conflict resulted. Another character I played was a former pirate turned paladin when he was visited by a deity in a dream. Everywhere he went, his pirate legend preceded him. He wanted to get away from all that and do good, but no one trusted him because of his past actions. Also a fun dynamic to play out. As a dungeon master, alignment is an incredibly useful shorthand for NPCs and monsters, and that's why it's always at the top of the stat block. And so the main question I'm getting to in this video is, in our modern age, is alignment still useful for PCs? How many tables even actively use it? Not many that I've played at, that's for sure. I've never personally been called out by a DM for role-playing in opposition to my character's alignment, and I've definitely acted counter to what it has said on my character sheet a time or two. D&D is a heavily improv game, and sometimes the choices just happen without a lot of deep consideration beforehand. We know this. So how do you avoid feeling railroaded in a game about making choices when your character sheet dictates that certain choices are more or less not available to you because of what it says in the alignment slot? Well, I have an idea for how we can fix this to tie alignment to mechanics and to make it feel useful again, and that is to treat alignment not as a hard and fast set of starting parameters, but rather as a reward for role-playing a certain style. Let's eliminate the stick of punishment and instead offer the carrot of reward. I think alignment should not be a choice you have to make when building your character. I think it should be assigned to you by your DM when you reach a certain level. Assuming your campaign starts at level 1, you would receive it at level 3 or 4. And at level 1, you can declare an alignment path, that is, an alignment you aim to strive for during the sessions. You can say, I intend to play my ranger as lawful good. And then when you reach level 4, you and your DM have a chat to determine if you've done that. If you have, there is a kind of mechanical benefit that comes from matching your alignment path. But if during the course of the campaign you actually discover that your ranger is closer to chaotic neutral based on your choices, then you would receive a different mechanical benefit from playing the character that way. And how do we go about doing this? I've made a guide for suggested rewards for different alignments. Check the link in the description below if this sounds interesting to you. I've grayed out parts of the boons table, but you'll notice I've listed tiers for level 4 and again at level 9. If you're starting your adventure at level 5, for example, it's at the GM's discretion if the PC starts with the level 4 boon or not. And it's important to note that everything on the list is a reward. There's no punishing players for playing a certain alignment. No one needs to be the morality police here. Whether the PC abides by their intended alignment or not, they receive some kind of benefit at the appropriate level. And if you as the DM can't decide exactly where the player falls on the alignment chart, just use the PC's intended alignment or alignment path as the guide. It shouldn't be an agonizing decision. Because we all know that sometimes PC's personalities morph over the course of a campaign. Sometimes good hearts get hardened, or sometimes evil characters see the light and change their ways. Allow PCs to receive a different boon to match their playstyle as needed. Remember, this is not supposed to be punitive. If it's not fun, or if it stops being fun at your table, don't do it. And so here we conclude our TTRPG theory lesson for the day. Again, check the link in the description below to access the full table. This is GM Jim. Now go out there and make moral choices to see what happens.